So in 2020, I started working on a Spider-Man project, and it was for another arachnid. It was a Miles Morales crossover thing, multiverse thing. It was gonna be really interesting, maybe, but I ultimately trashed it. The reasons aren't necessary. Just know I wasn't too interested in it at the end of the day. So I moved on to the next project that I had actually lined up after it. It was something I was a lot more interested in creating, and that was Spider-Man and Silk. And just something I was more interested in. I cared more about Silk than Miles Morales anyway. So I brought some friends to help me on the project. I might put their name somewhere here, maybe. There, maybe. Yeah, maybe there. And yeah, I finished the initial outline back actually in 2022. If you check my old Instagram account, it was actually have an announcement somewhere. I finished the outline and I'm working on the script. Well, guess what? The script never happened because the outline was really faulty. There was just something wrong with it, specifically with the villain, and that's why it just couldn't work. I got stumped halfway through and I procrastinated on it for a year, doing things other than brick filming, like watching anime, watching YouTube, taking pictures for Instagram. And it wasn't until recently that I got back into it. So it was like near the end of June, I started to try and work on it again. I practically had to work it all from scratch again. So basically redo the outline, and then I could probably, hopefully by then, plan was that I would have a script that would be workable. And I did. Now the script is complete, or it has been for some time when I'm recording this. And plan is that I would have a full cast ready for the project when I post this video. So sorry it took so long. So why I didn't announce this sooner, I would actually like to tell you guys, but the problem is that I don't know. When I announce a project way too early, it ends up I end up like not doing it. I scrapped the remake of the Jacksepticeye music video, all the way. The old video, maybe you don't know, but I was gonna remake it, and I didn't care about it anymore, so it never happened. Batman x Kamen Rider Geats. Some of you might have seen the Spider-Man Super Sentai. It was like, just imagine, it was basically an anime opening but with Spider-Man. That got taken down, I think, by Toei. Doesn't look like they don't take copyright very lightly. I'll tell you that. So I got scared, and I didn't complete it. To be honest, by the time I got that notification, I didn't really complete much of it. So maybe I'll put some clips here somewhere. Without the music, of course. Also, Spider-Man Hired Hand. That was basically after watching Chainsaw Man, I got inspired to make basically like this bounty hunter Spider-Man. He never got bit by the spider because he was orphaned before he ever got the chance to go to high school. So instead he actually bonded with the symbiote. So that's how he uses his Spider-Man powers. Don't ask me the nuance behind it. Why is he Spider-Man without the spider in the picture? I don't know, just go with it. And then I actually announced on my old Instagram account that I was working on it. I announced that I completed the outline, and then I couldn't work with the outline. So yeah, transparency is nice, but as you can see, it just doesn't work for me, I guess. I'll try to tell you guys when I can. I'll say that. So anyway, some important things about the brick film itself, Spider-Man Silk. Something that you guys may or may not have been, maybe you've been waiting for it for a long time. But yeah, so you want to know some things about like the actual brick film itself? Here it is. So first one, this is all going to take place in a new continuity. Remember all the ones, I actually probably taken a few of these down. So if you guys saw the Vulture, Electro, So all the way to Revenge of the Jackal. Sorry, those are not canon to this new continuity. Upgrade, the brick film short that I made, the slice of life one where he's making the new suit. Yeah, that one is going to be the only one that's going to carry over to this new continuity. So basically, the reason behind it is because in this continuity, Spider-Man never killed. You may remember that in those brick films, Spider-Man killed. Because at the time, I wanted to actually make a comedy superhero series like Aubrey Studios 82's Batman series and Forest Fire's Batman series. But I just, over time, I just wanted to make something a little more meaningful. And so because of that, it just doesn't sit right with me anymore. So the best way to go about it was to make it take place in a different continuity, essentially. No Ned. So remember Ned from those ones, the previous brick films too? Well, he's not going to be returning because the voice actor for him left the brick filming community. I don't think I can get in contact with him again. He stopped. I haven't been in contact with him for a while. Also, I don't want to replace him at the same time. So yeah, Harry Osborn is going to take his rightful role as Peter Parker's best friend from now on in this continuity. And I don't plan on reprising my role as Peter Parker. So I wrote here that my throat's kind of irritated at the moment. That was at the time of writing it. I think my throat is still kind of irritated, but I think that somebody else can perform the role better than I can. And if there are those of you who did enjoy my performance as Peter Parker for my series, thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna let somebody else do that. All right, and on to the questions. By the way, you're gonna notice that this is just an audio recording. I'm recording this a little after I had recorded the video segment. Just deal with it. Anyway, let's move on to the questions. One person said, "Not a question, but you're awesome." Thanks, Bike. I really appreciate it, bro. Hope you're doing well. All right, on to the next question, or questions, but these two are pretty much asking the same thing. So, how long are you shooting for it to be? And the other one is asking, how long are you expecting the video to be? So, yeah, let's take Revenge of the Jackal as like a reference. So, Revenge of the Jackal is 25 minutes, right? You guys know that. And I think the page count was like around maybe 20 to 25 pages long. So, that 20 to 25 pages long is apparently 25 minutes, apparently, at least according to that. So the Spider-Man Silk script is around like 61 pages. 61 pages, that could put it around like 50 to maybe more, a little more than an hour, maybe more than that. I don't know. This isn't like a foolproof way of estimating the time, but we're gonna say it might be around that time. So if you guys are interested in longer animations, this is probably gonna be one of them. So hope you're excited. And another person asked, how did casting and roles go for this? So for the most part, this was actually a pretty straightforward thing. A lot of the background characters and maybe just some of the important characters, I could just easily reach out to my friends in the brick filming community. I have at least a few friends and some acquaintances that were willing to get onto the project. So yeah, that was pretty easy. Maybe some of the harder parts was actually casting for, let's say, like the major roles. Silk, Spider-Man, like actively search for them. Looks through a site called Casting Call Club. Some of you might be familiar with it. I found some people that can do it. Spider-Man and Silk were actually much easier to find than the Green Goblin, I'm gonna be honest. The Green Goblin, I had to go through so many people. A lot of people couldn't do it. So this person had 3 questions. When is it coming out and why did it take so long? Will it be dark, serious, or comedy? So regarding your first question, when is it coming out? I don't know when. I think if we're going to base it off of Revenge of the Jackal, which took a little more than a year to finish, I'd say maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe. Could be wrong about that. Just take that with a grain of salt because I don't know. So just take that for what you will. Why did it take so long? Because, as I just covered, procrastination due to the fact that I was just stumped on working the script, the original script, halfway through because the outline was just awful, just overall extremely flawed for me to work with. So I got discouraged and I just didn't continue working on it. That's the reason why. So in short, procrastination because of perceived inadequacy, I guess. And will it be dark, serious, or comedy? You know, the funny thing is that why does it need to be either, you know? It can be serious and not dark, but it doesn't have to be straight up comedy either if it's not dark. I think it's going to be a mixture of the seriousness, but with definitely lighthearted parts to it. Some of you might know from some of the stuff that I animated, I like myself a good old slice of life. It's nice to see characters that we know, especially in this case superheroes, just kind of take their own time and experience life for themselves. Just the small little moments feel good, you know? Expect some of that. Anyway, somebody else had 3 more questions as well. Let's see. Who will be the main villain? I just answered Green Goblin. I wanted to make a joke here about like, oh, it's somebody you didn't know, but I already answered that with the casting. So the Green Goblin's the main villain. 2, could you private some of the old videos? I really want to watch them because Venom, Spot, and Jackal were all awesome. Okay, so here's the thing about that. I'm just not happy about them. That's why they were privated. I'm sure some of you enjoyed those videos, and I really appreciate that you do, but at the same time, just I can't, just because something in me doesn't want to. They just don't feel, I'm not happy with them, just period. I hope you can understand that. Anyway, do you have an estimated release? So just like the other one, I don't know. Another person asked, very random question, but how did you design those fonts for the title? So Photoshop, you just do a bit of distortion here and there. Well, you gotta download some fonts first, I guess. Shape tool, pen tool, distortion, some layer styles, effects, blending modes maybe. That's it really. Yeah, it's just standard Photoshop stuff. Also download fonts and reference photos. Those are incredibly important. And tissues at the ready. Okay now, bro. So I just want to thank a few people real quick. I want to give a shout out to Logan and Airborne. I'll put their channels on the screen right now. They've been a real big help in the initial development stages of the project, you know, with the generation of ideas and all that stuff, especially Logan. By the way, Logan came up with a bunch of ideas to help work with my vision as well as make it all make sense. So thanks for that. Just want to say that. Also, thanks to Airborne and Gravity for helping to check over the script, being willing to take the time to give feedback, because that stuff is extremely important, especially if I don't want to recreate the mess that is Revenge of the Jackal story. And finally, I want to thank Mason from this channel. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I put up this channel. You probably know him. Just want to say thanks to him because he invited me on to Continue the Story 2024 after I completed my part for Continue the Story 2024. My passion for brick filming was reinvigorated. Essentially, I wanted to work on the script again. So I gave a second go at it and I completed it. And I'm here now and I completed everything. Now almost ready to actually start brick filming, and it's all thanks to Mason for inviting me on to Continue the Story. He played an indirect role in me completing the script, but he played a pretty big one as well. So I feel like I have to give my thanks. So thank you. And that should be it. I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, if I have something to play for you, I'll put it here, but if not, this is it. So bye.